I'm waiting for it to go. We're not live yet. Good evening. Will you please stand for Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing, men and women missing in action, prisoners of war. Also, a moment of silence. One of our longtime employees of Upper Darby Township, Joan Skin. Secretary Phillips, can I get a roll call, please?
Yes. Counselor Heyman,
Here.
Counselor Blackwell,
Here.
Counselor Andrusko,
Here.
Counselor Sadiq,
Present.
Counselor Faralia,
Here.
Counselor Silver,
Here.
President Burke,
Here.
Secretary Billups is here, Counselor Wagner,
Here.
Counselor Tunis,
Here.
Vice President Wentz,
Here.
and we have Officer Bateman and Radar. And I'm sorry, McGarry, I'm sorry, I can't see you back there with I can't see with my glasses anyway. And we have solicitors, we have our mayor, Barbara Ann Keffer, we have our solicitors Kilkenny and Marcini, we have Alexis, Cicchetti. I thought I said Alexis. Okay. And we have Diane on Zoom. Our treasurer, is our treasurer on Zoom? Because I thought he was going to be here.
No, he's not able to be here. I'm going to give his
His
report.
report. Okay, all right, thank you. And then, of course, we have our wonderful residents of Upper Darby.
Thank you, Secretary Billups. Rules of meeting decorum. Upper Darby residents have the opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. Residents are prohibited from making threats, using profanity, or acting in a manner that would impede or prevent the conduct of business of the meeting. Public forum shall not exceed 30 minutes. 5.0, today, Council Community Engagement has the privilege to present a certificate to Logan Cooley. Logan has, in recognition of your outstanding and invaluable service to the community in your new role as an Eagle Scout for Boy Scouts of America. Logan, will you come up and give us a couple minutes about what you had to do for your projects?
Thank you. There we go. All right, my project for my Eagle Scout rank was a bike rack repair station at Garrettford Elementary School, right down Garrett Road. It was a bike rack and a tool pump, or air pump and a toolkit. And so people could put their bikes there, ride to their bikes and put it there for when they need to get home or get there. They could also repair their bikes and fill up their tires when they needed to. It was also a little bit of beautification around the area. Clean up some weeds, clean up a whole bunch of trash there, made the entire place just look a little bit nicer, repainted a bit of the asphalt. It was a whole big thing. 2 days. It was pretty nice. Looked nice afterwards.
And are students using it? Logan, are students utilizing it?
Yeah, students are using it. We've gotten a few photos from like security and just people around there of people actually using it. My mom works at the school also, and she's seen people using it herself.
Could members of the committee join us for a picture and the council?
Once again, I'd like to thank the Community Engagement Committee for bringing these awards and recognizing students and residents of the township. So thank you very much. 6.0 Public Forum, Secretary Billups.
Yes. When you come up to the microphone, please say your name and your address. First, we have Kyle McIntyre.
Hey everyone, Kyle McIntyre, 1040 Drexel Ave. Sorry, wonderful weather we have. So really quickly, obviously, Happy Pride Month. On Saturday is the inaugural Delaware County Pride Festival right here, right outside the Township Building from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. We have over 130 vendors, I believe. Over 22 performers. It's going to be all day. And thankfully, the smoke should clear out of here by Friday. So we'll have nice blue skies, at least according to the weather. Yeah, that's basically it. I don't have anything else. Yeah, that's it. Really short and simple. Please come out on Saturday, share with your friends this event. It's going to be a historic day for Delaware County and also for Upper Darby Township. Thank you. Oh, and thank you to the township and everyone that has helped out, with the planning process. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kyle, are you performing or are you just?
Unfortunately, well, I will be performing my firefighting role, and I'll be putting out fires all day. But other than that, no. So.
Can you just remind the public of the time and location?
The location is 100 Garrett Road here at the Township Building in the 5 Point intersection, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. on June 10th, which is this upcoming Saturday. We encourage everyone to please take public transit. This is Upper Darby. We're near 69th Street. We have the best public transit in all of Delaware County. Please use it. If you must drive, we do have some parking. Most of it is going to be nearby street parking. We don't charge that much for street parking. I think it's only like $1 an hour. And obviously the 69th Street Shoppers Lot is the other option if you prefer free parking. Thank you.
Excuse me. Next, we have Becky Duggan.
Okay, I'll start again. I'm going to start off talking about the fire truck we discussed last week. I saw on Facebook that a group of people had gone to, I believe it was Idaho, and looked at a fire truck, which I believe is a different truck than the one we discussed. So I want to know what's the status of the one we discussed that was discussed last week. Is it still coming? Maybe we can answer that easier question. The one they talked about on Facebook, engine 36, when will that be delivered?
That's the one they were out.
They're out at Pierce.
Out of Pierce. I believe that's about 6 or 8 weeks away. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, but we don't know anything about the other one.
No, I believe Solicitor Marcini jotted those questions down last meeting.
Okay.
I referred all the questions to the administration for a response.
Nothing? So, okay. Great. Nobody cares about the fire truck. It's great. Okay, so then let's talk about the resolution that we passed last week for the additional police officers. As we all know, resolutions are non-binding. So what provisions have been made to ensure that there will be additional police officers hired so that, it's safer for the officers that are on the street now? Are there any provisions or any kind of thing we can do to see if we get more police officers?
Councilwoman Farrell, would you like to answer that with the conversation with state reps?
I did speak to our state rep, Gina Carey, and we're going to have a meeting with her and our new state rep, Heather Boyd, to discuss funding for additional police officers. And then I also have been talking to the finance committee, and they're trying to see where we can cut in the budget to hire more. So we are in the process of doing that, and
Who would be ultimately responsible for though, seeing that they are hired? Who's responsible for, is that the administration? Is that,
I would say it would be the mayor, right?
can we get a commitment from the administration that it will, we're going to get more police officers if the funding comes through?
I think we have to work through the budget process to make sure that we can fund it.
Okay,
So,
but if the funding comes through, then it'll happen.
okay.
I just want a yes or no, that's all. An okay is not really a yes.
Yeah, we're working through it is the answer right now.
But if you have the money, will they be hired? I'll take that as a no. Okay, so next, the parking audit. I understand that Joe Holden could get a hold of it and read it. I want to know I understand that there is involvement with the district attorney's office. And I understand that there's, legalities of that, but not the whole thing. So I want to know when will the public be allowed to see the rest of it? And has council seen any of it? And has the administration seen it? Has the administration seen it?
The district attorney has part of it. The other part, which I think maybe Joe Holden discussed, was presented to council in executive session a few weeks ago.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Joanne Namavag.
Joanne Namavong, 133 North Pennock. I think I can answer the question somebody just had about the, when will the public get it? So when I watched Joe Holden's report, he had a little image of the report. That's okay. And it said, not for public disclosure. So I'm just curious, so this report is not for the public? So we're not going to be allowed to see anything? I find that interesting. The other question I have is about some right to knows that we've been getting. Is there a problem with the printer? Because everything we get is so light, it's barely legible. And I don't know, it kind of almost looks like, I got some purchase orders, and it almost looks like you guys are using carbon paper. Are we still using like that old technology of paper for purchase orders? Because you can't read them. And so I don't care. I paid for right to knows that I can't read. I'm not worried about the money, but I'm just saying, like, we got to get into the 21st century, whichever one we're in, and get up with the technology. Thank you.
Hold on, Joanne. Next time, I believe, I think you can request an email copy, electronic copy.
Yeah, but he's just going to email me the PDF, which is going to be the same thing that I have.
Go ahead,
But
Allison.
you
Go ahead,
know-
Allison. You can answer.
So we have switched to a new online system, but if it's prior to the implementation of OpenGov, it is that carbon paper.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
thank you.
So just question to the solicitor. Is there anything stopping us from the residents getting an electronic copy on a right to know? Is there any law?
No, there's no law.
Okay, so I would hope that the administration would just email the copies so we get things fixed.
Yeah, because basically, like, we're not really offered an email copy. Yeah, no, I understand that. If it's older, it's not going to work. But it's kind of weird because, like, when I was, like, the only option I was given was to have something mailed to me or I can come pick it up. So, like, an electronic version was not an option, at least for what I was getting. So maybe for others it is. And I've actually one more question. At Drexelbrook, when you leave Drexelbrook and turn right and you're going on that roadway that curves around and goes towards Fern Boulevard, I think, is that private or is that a public street? It's private, right?
I believe it's private.
Okay. I was just curious because there's like these humongous speed bumps that all the paint has worn off. You cannot see them anymore. And all the parents' prom on Saturday were like flying over them because they didn't see them.
That is owned by Drexelbrook.
Okay, I'll ask them. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Chris Sabatino.
Yes, good evening, council. Can everybody hear me okay? My name's Chris Sabatino. I'm a longtime resident at 15 South State Road. My sewer and trash fees have gone up 50% over the last 6 years. So I'm just coming before the council to see if what avenue I can take to try to get some relief from the high tax, the high fees. Is it on? Is it okay?
Sabatino.
Mr. Sabatina, President Burke just forwarded me a copy of a letter dated today, basically stating your concerns. The issues you always have with fees and penalties is we have to treat all ratepayers equally.
I understand
We'll
that.
look into the issue, and someone from I will give it to the administration, and someone will get back to you.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Okay? Yep. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Does he own an apartment building?
I don't know.
I mean, that's not what we charge.
Have to get more.
Next is Rich Bly.
Good evening, everyone. Rich Bly, 6914 Chestnut Street. I am the Commandant of the Sons of the American Legion at American Legion Post 214. I too am happy to announce that Upper Darby will be having its first street festival for Juneteenth at 6914 Chestnut Street. I'm happy to announce that through a partnership of a state grant from the state of Pennsylvania, that we will be able to pay for many of the things and activities that we will have there. I did not bring copies. I'm going to apologize for that, because in order for me to make copies, I have to keep going to the state representative's office because I have to keep things under budget. We're going to have a small celebration. It's going to be extremely small. We're probably going to have like about nine vendors. We'll probably have one food truck. We'll have one band. We'll have plenty of kids acts. Again, we're working with such a small budget for such a huge federal law locally. And one of the things about the grant process that we're going through is that they wish for me to report back to the state as to who helped me and who did not, as far as to promote the success of Juneteenth. So my question to Mayor Barbara Ann Keffer: I have been the strongest proponent for Juneteenth that Delaware County has ever seen. I've got the first proclamation in 2019. I got the second proclamation in 2020. It was fought here to have my name put in it last year. There's always room for a second chance. And as many black eyes as Upper Darby has been getting lately, you would think that you would hit a home run and come in the ninth inning and show that you can work together despite any political bias, difference, or any personal misgivings. I have said, and I have protested against many people up here, but I never stopped working for the community. I never gave up on the dream of bringing Juneteenth back to Upper Darby Township, where I was unceremoniously kicked out of my own township and sent up to Newtown Square to a home which will always host the ceremony. But Upper Darby Township has an opportunity to show the state, because I'm going to report this the way that it goes. I'm not going to embellish anything. I'm going to tell the truth as to who helped me. We have a cultural committee, right? We have a community engagement committee, and no one has picked up the ball for Juneteenth in Upper Darby Township. I have to tell them why. because you don't personally like me, that it's personal. So you would deny access to a culture just because you have hatred for one man. Amen.
Thank you. Next is John Bazari.
Good evening, John Bazari, 353 Kirks Lane. First, I want to thank Treasurer Heyman for putting together the ARPA funds summary information that was part of the agenda tonight that Vice President Wentz is going to go over. This is something that he committed to doing at the last meeting based on some of my public comments that I made at the last meeting, and he delivered on it. And I appreciate that he did what he said he was going to do, because we see so often from this administration that that's not the case. I would like to point out, though, that the total ARPA expenditure line items referenced under the ARPA funds cash summary and reconciliation of expended ARPA funds is one, it's off by 8 cents, which is a little minor detail, but based on the figures on the document, the actual total amount of ARPA funds that were expended since the receipt of these ARPA funds and through April 30th, based on the information that's in here, is $8,996,653.76 versus what's on the document as $7,939,166.30. Now, that difference is the interest that these ARPA funds made from sitting in the account that they're in. But we have to report, the township has to report and account for every dollar that was received. The interest is not part of that. And that interest was not expended at all either. Therefore, it's, icing on the cake, so to speak. I was also hoping that his report would have provided a detailed line by line of what was actually allocated, how much has been expended from each of those allocations, and how much is left per allocated project. And perhaps that's something we can get from UHY. I don't know if they could provide that. And then Mayor Keffer, is regarding financials, I continually ask you, are you ever going to present at these public meetings the quarterly year-to-date statements of both income and expenditures as required under Article 3 of the Administrative Code? There's not one single quarterly report published anywhere. So I just would like to know where and when can we see those details?
We do monthly reports, which is more up to date, and
It's
we do monthly reports. We do above and beyond what is required in the Home Rule Charter.
where are they? Where are the monthly reports?
The council gets them every month, and then we're moving towards
But
what's
they-
OpenGov. We can't really get them on. We will be getting them on the website. They're not on there now, but they will be available. It's part of our transition from the AS400 to OpenGov.
Okay. I don't know which monthly reports you're referencing, but we don't see them. Public doesn't see them. And it's not what is stated in Article 3 that is required to be brought at this public meeting. And then last, if I could just have 30 seconds, I just wanted to tag on to that fire truck status, because there's still no answer as to was it canceled? And if it was, why wasn't the additional cost paid from the $1,057,487 in interest that we made through the ARPA funds? Because they haven't been expended, and that could have been used for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Burke, or President Burke, I'm sorry, I do have a message for Mr. Vazari. Mr. Vazari, I did pass your question on to Treasurer Heyman. He will have an updated version as far as the more specifics for the next meeting.
Thank you. Next, I'm sorry, I can't read this next person's name. Oh, I'm sorry, Brian.
I'm old, I still use cursor.
Yeah.
How's everybody today?
Hey, how are you?
All right. Brian Sharif Taylor, my address is 7258 Landport Road, Upper Darby, zip code 19082. I just want to discuss 3 topics. On June 11th, 2023 at 5 p.m. at the Delaware County Veteran Memorial, there will be actually honoring 8 fallen veterans from the Upper Darby area. That is Paul Turner, Leo Dennis Stromberg, Alan Scott, Robert Fife Jr., John Nelson, and Stephen Gunn, Richard Galladino, and William S. Sell. Only brought one flyer with me, but it starts at 5 p.m. I'm really for the community. If you want to actually honor these men or their family, please attend. Can you please stop my time? On the 14th of June, it is considered Flag Day, but also the Army's birthday. At the American Legion Post 6914 Chestnut Street, we're gonna have a cookout starting at 1 p.m. And as long as you smell the smoke, we're gonna be open. All are welcome to come. On the third and final subject, on January the 20th, we will have our Delaware County Veteran Network meeting. I don't know, I'm tired, June. You guys won't come anyway, so June the 20th. I'm sorry, just being the smart behind. These meetings, we identify the issues within the veteran community, have directors from the Veteran Administration come in, explain their programs, veterans get to ask questions, then they get to know the step-by-step process. Each month is actually different. Everybody has the input. If you actually want to hear something different or find out about a different program, it goes on to the next month. This month, along with Sade Westcott, who is the Delaware County Suicide Prevention Coordinator, we will also have Mark Embro, Army vet. His program is called Paul's Healing Heroes, providing service dogs for veterans in need. And then we will also have Miss Christine Clemens, the LGBTQ plus care coordinator for the Coatesville area. Our programs always starts at 4:30, they end at 6, but there are also hybrid meetings. You don't have to be there. There's always a link. And that is my 3 subjects. How much time do I have left? 24 seconds? 6th district looks like trash. It's trash everywhere. I have not seen a street sweeper in a long time. Something has to be done. I think it actually hurts our community when they walk outside and you are constantly seeing filth. And I live on Landport Road at 7200. We have not seen a street sweeper. Everyone have a good night. Yep.
Next is Lee Jordan. Okay. And next is Olivia Taylor.
Olivia Taylor, 204 Kent. Okay, first I'm going to start. On Monday morning, approximately 10:37 a.m., there was a shootout in Cardigan Field. 10:30 in the morning. Our officers were there because they were right around the corner. That's not the problem. The township is wide open, okay? These people are coming in here doing whatever they want. There was a mother and her son playing on the monkey bars. She literally had to grab him and throw him to the ground. I was in the house and can hear it out my back window. This has got to stop. And these people before me, Barbara Ann, was coming up here asking you questions, whether it be the report, whether it be about our police, and you're just sitting there looking stupid. You're the reason why our township is open. You and your administration, you're the reason why we need police. You are the reason why some of the men left, went to other departments, and retired early. You. But yet you have the audacity to sit there and not open your mouth and say a word to the residents. We are the residents, we the people. Okay, we have a say in what happens here, and it needs to stop. Thank God the child didn't get shot. Okay? And you don't want to answer the question, I will continue to come in here every meeting until you're out of here to find out when and where and how many officers are we going to hire. Okay, you took it upon yourself to defund our police and left this township in this crap hole that it is now. My second thing I want to talk about is the Sikhs are supposed to have a parade Sunday. Am I correct in hearing this? How many times do I have to say Marshall Road is one lane now? So how many people are you going to put in danger now because they want to celebrate their culture? We just had a shooting. You know, what do you need now? Another road rage? So now because they want to celebrate and block our streets, can't do it in the park like everybody else. You're going to inconvenience the residents. By the way, these groups, just like his, who's done nothing for our community, but yet want to inconvenience us. Now, here's the solution. I think it should stop all this blocking our streets because of them. Whose ever name on that permit will be held liable, and so will you. You understand? I will be recording this. If there's a road rage, somebody loses their temper, wants to fight or accident, you and whose ever name on that permit is going to be held responsible, okay? Hopefully this will stop and they will celebrate whatever they need to celebrate in parks like everybody else. We should not have to be inconvenienced. It is a nightmare now. If you shut down one of those streets, it is a backup. But I guess somebody has to get hurt for you to listen to what I'm saying. And you also said, I'm gonna go back to this audit for the ticket. It was released to the council. What about the public?
As far as I know, the report is incomplete. Council had an executive session, as I said before. They got a copy of it. I have no idea how.
So is council-
I'm not done.
Excuse me.
You asked me a
don't-
question.
Oh, no.
Unless you don't want to know what the answer is.
Let her answer you.
Okay.
I have no idea how Joe Holden got a hold of anything. And whatever is in the district attorney's hands is there. And it's not appropriate for me to comment on anything that the district attorney may or may not be investigating.
So the copies that they have, why hasn't it been released to the public?
It's not for public release, and I think that our solicitor already addressed that
What do you
several
mean it's not
times.
for public release? We had 18,000 residents, 18,000, okay?
Ms. Taylor,
Residents who
Ms.
didn't.
Taylor, I'm
let
just
me
gonna ask you
finish.
one question,
Okay, let me finish my statement, Brian, okay?
Yeah.
You had 18,000 residents whose due process was taken from them. What do you mean it's not for public?
I got it.
I don't think, you know what I think? I think you don't want to be held responsible, and whoever else had their hands in the cookie jar, who got caught now, don't want to be held responsible. Okay, and like I said in the prior meeting, that DA's office needs to be cleaned out because all y'all should be in jail. Every last one of y'all are disgusting. Okay, you have turned this township into a crap hole that it is now. Every last one of y'all belong in jail. What
Ms.
was you
Taylor, I'd
gonna
like to
say,
answer that
Brian?
I'd like to put a thought on that process there, on that question. Has anybody from the public put a right to know in for that report?
These two,
Have you put
mine
a,
don't even get answered, so I stopped it.
so as far as I know, nobody has put a right to know in and has been denied a right to know for that report.
Did you put one in, Joanne? Okay.
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 So put the right to know in and then we'll get the answer to the right to know. That's all.
Well, I mean, you did it publicly, you called on it publicly. Why can't you release it publicly?
And that's why I'm asking you to put a right to know
Someone
in.
puts in a right to know request or review it under the Pennsylvania Open Records Law. As I said previously, there are many exceptions to the Pennsylvania Open Records Law, which may not permit the report to be released, but we'll evaluate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Sure. I got it, as soon as I find my paper. Secretary Billups, thanks. Next up, 7.0, The Honorable Mayor Barbara Ann Keffer.
Good evening, everyone. Here are some updates for our Upper Darby community. The Darby Creek Bridge, which spans the creek from Swedish Cabin area over to Gillespie Park, is open to pedestrians. A few more details need to be finished, including the epoxy seal coat. We are very grateful for the support from the state and from Delaware County Council's Greenways grant program, which made this project possible. The official ribbon cutting will be announced in the near future. We have not awarded the original bid for the community center. The plans will go back to the design phase. We can discuss the reasons for this in the old business part of the meeting. As a friendly reminder, Monday, June 19th is a township holiday in honor of Juneteenth. There will be no trash or recycling collected on Monday, June 19th, and the municipal building will be closed. Please go to our website to see how your trash and recycling collection is affected by the holiday. In honor of Juneteenth, Upper Darby will be hosting the YMCA and Penny Health Equity Tour. This tour typically provides various health screenings to the community, such as balance testing, mobile mammograms, cholesterol screenings, vision screenings, and more. This event will take place on Monday, June 19th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the One Center, with the ceremony honoring Juneteenth at 10 a.m. We have giveaways for children, free resources, and more. I am pleased to announce that Brian Boyce has returned to Upper Darby to serve as our acting fire chief. Chief Boyce retired from the Upper Darby Fire Department in early 2021 after 30-plus years of service here, and I'm happy to welcome him back to our team. I'd like to clarify the status of the fire apparatus purchases, which was a big and sprawling topic of speculation at the last couple of council meetings. 2 apparatus were ordered using $2 million from ARPA funding. One should be ready by the end of the summer, and we're told that the other will be ready by December. Tomorrow, construction on the Cardington Newtown Trail begins in the Chapman Park area. This trail is a multi-segmented project. This first segment will go from Chapman Park to Marshall Road, and there's a spur that runs alongside Ruskin Lane to Long Lane. As was mentioned earlier in the public forum, the Delco Pride Festival is this Saturday, and I mention this because, one, we're very grateful that Upper Darby was chosen to host the first ever Delco Pride Festival. And two, we are near completion of a huge revitalization project from the bottom of the township building steps to the bottom of Garrett Road at Westchester Pike. In the last 3 years, my administration has transformed the area around the township building. We have the One Center, the renovations to the parking lot across the street, a facade improvement pilot project on the unit block of Garrett, as well as the new lighting and parking kiosks there. Reinvesting in our public spaces, new amenities for our residents, and supporting our small businesses are all visible and impactful goals. And I'd like to thank our township team for working together to make them and all of our other above-ground projects a reality. Twice a week trash collection began this week. Please remember that we have free recycling bins available to residents. You can email one@upperdarby.org or call 610-734-7625 so that our Public Works team can drop one off to your home. We also continue to accept applications for our seasonal Public Works laborer positions. Visit www.upperdarby.org/jobs for details. The controller box R contest submissions are due by the end of this month, June 30th. And finally, June 30th is also the evening that we will have our fireworks honoring the 4th of July, and they will be at Upper Darby High School. So that's about it. Thank you, and have a great evening.
Thank you, Mayor Keffer. Just to touch on a few questions, topics that you brought up. The community.
Old business. This is old business.
It's not old business. This is the president of council.
Okay. Okay, and?
I'm just asking a simple question. You don't even know where the question's going.
I'm not answering questions now.
Oh, okay.
It's for old business.
No, it's my business, so, well, I didn't interrupt
Ask
you,
away.
so don't interrupt me, so. So, you mentioned, is it acting Chief Boyce or is it Chief Boyce for the fire department? And are you asking council to approve it? Or, that's all I'm asking. Okay. The community center, are we sending that out for rebid or we're redesigning it?
Old business.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So, on the committee reports of the Finance and Appropriation Committee, we have Resolution 1323. We voted on December 14th, 5122 was the resolution. We did not have the amount of money. We now have the amount of money. It's the same resolution that we voted on December 14th, and that resolution was 5122. And I believe that passed 11-0. So I would just, if anybody has any questions, we already passed this. The 1323 is just the amount on it. So the state asked us to have the amount on there. So that's all I have. Thank you. Next up, committee reports, Finance Appropriation Committee, Chairwoman Laura, Vice President Wentz.
Thank you. Members of the committee are Councilman Silva, Councilwoman Wagner, and Councilman Andrusco. First of all, we have a motion to appoint BBD LLP to serve as the Township Auditor for the years 2022, 2023, and 2024. I'd like to make the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Are there any questions or concerns from council? Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it.
Great, thank you. Okay, so next up is Resolution 1323. Solicitors, can you give us a reading on the resolution?
Sure, thank you very much. Resolution 1323, a resolution authorizing application to the COVID-19 ARPA PA Small Water and Sewer Grant through the Pennsylvania Department of Economic Development. Whereas Upper Darby Township desires to apply for COVID ARPA PA Small Water and Sewer Grant through the Pennsylvania Department of Community DCED to fund improvements to the Cobb Creek's interceptor. Whereas Upper Darby Township recognizes that COVID-19 ARPA PA Small Water and Sewer Grant money funding for the relining of Cobb's Creek interceptor would be an asset to the township. Whereas Upper Darby Township desires to request funding from the Commonwealth Finance Authority to reline the Cobb's Creek interceptor. Now therefore be it resolved, 1, the township is hereby authorized to apply for, execute, and submit an application to DCED's COVID-19 ARPA PA Small Water and Sewer Fund Grant for up to $500,000. The township shall provide matching funds of at least 15% of the requested grant amount. 3, Barbara Ann Keffer, the mayor of the township, is authorized to execute all documents and agreements needed to facilitate and assist in obtaining the requested grant. And the township is authorized to provide such assurances, certificates, application fees, and supplemental data, or revised data that may be requested in connection with the application. Adopted and resolved the 7th day of June in council chambers. Brian Burke, council president.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 13-23.
Second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nays? Thank you.
Great. Next up, we have the treasurer's report. I just want to say Treasurer Heyman has apologized for not being able to attend today. He had a business trip had been rescheduled, and so he's in a meeting right now, which is why he can't take part. He wanted to thank Diane Scudi for all of her help with these numbers, and Diane is on Zoom right now. And thank you, Mr. Vazzari, for your correction. I did the math too and found that your numbers were correct. So Diane, are you okay with me using his numbers for that total for the reconciliation of expended ARPA funds?
No, because I think that my totals are correct, Laura. I'd have to, I think my totals are correct. So no, I think as I wrote the report, I think it is correct. I can look at it tomorrow, but.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'll read off the 2 different versions of the number, and then we'll make the motion to approve it 2 weeks from now, so that we can get clarification on that. Is that okay? because I did the math while I was sitting here while he was speaking, and his numbers were more accurate, but I'm cool with holding off on the approval until later. Okay? All right, so, ARPA fund summary.
Vice President Wentz, one question.
Where's the report?
It's in your folder.
This is the ARPA fund summary. Treasurer Hayman's not here today.
Yeah, this is a report.
If he were to provide a report, he would be providing things with context and as if he was here.
We're not
One second.
approving
Vice
anything
President Wentz,
today.
Vice President Wentz.
So I missed,
Vice President
we're
Wentz.
not, we're
Vice
not
President
approving
Wentz.
anything today.
There's only one president of council, and I'm
I
speaking
got
to
it,
him.
I got it. So
What
I
I'm-
received it, I received an email that Treasurer Hayman was trying to clarify some questions from the public. last
Totally
meeting.
understand.
Just to give this a little bit of knowledge. He
Sounds
won't
good.
be here. Last minute on Monday, he called me and told me he couldn't. I had Alexis put it in everybody's folder.
I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just telling you this is,
Not voting on that.
yeah, understood.
That's all. And it's just, I believe the public does not have this, but it was on the website, right? So it's just a few questions that were asked last meeting that Treasurer Hayman's just clarifying. That's why Diane's on there.
Yeah, but it should say ARPA fund summary. It's not a treasury report.
Okay, so it's just.
I'm talking to President Berg again.
So it's just Treasurer Hayman, and it's a summary of.
I
of
But it's
questions.
not a
Get
report.
chance to start
Vice
reading the
President Wentz.
document.
Vice President
Nothing on
Wentz,
the document says report
Vice President Wentz, please. So
with no context at all. If,
it's just a summary. We're going to go through it. There's no votes.
yeah, no, but I'm saying as the treasurer, if you're going to provide something like this, at least provide a document that's going
Listen.
to provide context.
Yeah,
I'm not
so-
asking for anything out of the ordinary.
He got called
It's
out of
not-
town.
Yeah, it's not a treasury report.
Right. It's not.
It's
It's
the
a summary.
ARPA fund summary.
Questions asked. So we're
It's
just
the
going to leave
ARPA
it
fund
as
summary.
summary of questions asked last meeting. That's all it is. It's not a report.
ARPA funds summary as of April 30th, 2023. Authorization summary. Total ARPA funds received from U.S. Treasury, $41,761,939. Authorized for projects, $19,936,245. Lost revenue for 2022 authorized, $6 million. Lost revenue for 2023 authorized, $2.5 million. Total authorized for use, $28,436,245. Total funds available for authorization, $13,325,694. Available to lost revenue replacement calculation from formula included in the total available for authorization, $13,092,787. ARPA funds cash summary. Total allocated ARPA UDT, Upper Darby Township, $41,761,939. Less Upper Darby ARPA Fund Santander account, $821,865.72. Less Upper Darby ARPA Fund Pliget account, $33,907.06. Total ARPA funds expended, $7,939,166.22. Reconciliation of expended ARPA funds. ARPA funds expended in the fiscal year of 2022, $7,818,442.48. ARPA funds encumbered in 2022, expended in 2023, $88,707.50. ARPA funds expended in the fiscal year of 2023, $1,089,503.78. total bank interest, $1,057,487.46. The total ARPA funds expended, $7,939,166.30. This is where there's a discrepancy with Mr. Vasari's number. Will Treasurer Hayman and Ms. Goody will look into that for the next meeting.
Yeah, excuse me, Laura, I do.
Bank interest.
Can't hear me.
Oh, sorry, Diane.
Yeah, I do agree that the numbers, I'm looking at my report and maybe it didn't exactly translate over, but the 8 million is what was expended. I agree. But I can send out an email tomorrow. How's that?
Okay, so we can clear it up at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Bank interest, 2022 bank interest, unrestricted, not subject to authorization, $525,546.56. 2023 year-to-date interest, unrestricted, not subject to authorization, $531,940.90. Total bank interest, $1,057,487.46. No bank interest has been expended. There's a asterisk. Total encumbrance as of April 30th, 2023, included in the total authorized for use, $3,641,833.61. So that was the report. We will get more clarification on the specifics, or sorry, the summary of ARPA funds summary. We'll get more specifics for next week. I also just wanted to say that the Finance Committee met earlier this week. We are working on creating ordinances to allocate ARPA funds. So if other council members have ideas on how funds should be allocated, please send me an email at udcouncil.laurawentz@gmail.com. So that we can add your thoughts and ideas to what we were looking at. Is there anyone else from the Finance Committee that had something? Ms. Wagner?
Yeah, if I may, I'm asking, I think that based on our meeting the other night, that we'll actually be ready to have that on the next meeting.
Yes, we will have
So I would ask-
ordinances on the agenda for the next meeting.
So I don't know, Mr. Cook, do we have to do that now or?
No, we can do it through the president of council.
Okay.
Yep. We just don't have the specifics of all the different ordinances at this time, but we will have ordinances. Anyone else from the Finance Committee? Okay. Anyone else from council? Okay. Concludes our, Councilman Silva?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was going to put this in new business, but the Parks and Recreation Committee met last Wednesday with Larry McCullough from General Recreation. And we had some ideas about renovations to Nailers Run Park. He put them together in a summary. I received it last night, but it was late. But I'm going to share it with everybody electronically. And I have copies of them in the car if someone wanted to see them today.
Great, thank you.
Thank you,
Yes,
Councilman Silva.
numbers are very helpful for what it actually is for playground equipment.
Okay.
So thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Wentz. Next up, 9.2, Public Safety Committee, Chairwoman Farrelly.
Okay, so, real quick, I did meet with our acting chief of the fire company, Boyce, yesterday. He's adjusting well. They've been really busy. They did hire a new fire training coordinator. The chief told me that he's also meeting with the school district to see if they can get more children or more kids in the Upper Darby High School to join the EMS program at the vocational schools in Aston and in Fallcroft. I guess that's really about it with with the fire department. As for the police department, they're waiting for the civil service to do their interviews. Alexis, I believe the superintendent was waiting to hear back from them. I guess you're waiting to hear back from them to let him know. They will be hiring one more police officer and then promoting a sergeant when that, and the certified list, yes. So, so as soon as that comes through, then I'll let everybody know. I did speak to Eric, and he's still working on getting estimates. Believe there's one more company coming out tomorrow. So hopefully by the end of the week, we'll have estimates on the police department on the renovations that need to be done there. And I was waiting for Mike Galante for the back parking lot for that estimate to come in. And then I'll have a figure for you, Laura, that I can email you guys to let you know like what the police department needs. And that's really all I have. Does anybody from?
You're missing one there.
Oh, the resolution. I'm sorry.
No, the Parking Ordinance Committee?
Pardon me?
Parking Ordinance Committee?
Yes, so I did send out an email, so we're going to be working on the new parking ordinance. There is a committee that was formed with the superintendent pick somebody and the fire department pick somebody to work.
Parking truck ordinance.
Pardon me?
The parking truck, right? Okay.
So it
Yeah,
says
it just says
parking truck ordinance. So we're going to meet on Tuesday to go over that, all the streets. So I spoke to Hafiz, and he's off, so he'll be able to do that since he wanted to be a part of that from the last time when all this started, way back when, 2 years ago or last year, whenever it was. To be on there. Well, I don't think we need everybody for it right now, Laura. So it's just going to be them and them. So, all right. Anybody from council have anything to say? Brian?
I'm good.
I know, but
Okay, well, let her finish and then we'll do the resolution, that's all.
yeah.
Do you have anything to add to the parking ordinance or to update the police and fire, Michelle?
No.
Okay.
but I'll wait till the
Okay,
resolution
that's
for
fine.
your question.
Okay, next up, we have Resolution 12-23. Solicitor Kilkenny.
Whereas ordinance 1241 of Upper Darby Township fixes the maximum speed for vehicles at 15 miles per hour speed limit within certain business or residential districts and imposes penalties for violation thereof. Now therefore be it resolved that ordinance number 2141B, the same is hereby amended and supplemented by adding to section 1 of the following: establish 15 mile per hour speed limit on the 1000 block of Cobb Street. Adopted and resolved this day in council chambers. Brian Burke, council president.
I get a
Make a motion?
first, second, anybody? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Thank you.
President Burke.
So, Councilman Tunis, I'm going to go with Secretary Billups first and then to you, okay?
Yeah,
I said,
oh, sorry, it was regarding the resolution.
okay. As regarding the resolution?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead, guys. Okay, go ahead. Both of you, go ahead. Go ahead.
I've known a lot of residents that saw the agenda were saying that we were implementing something that wasn't enforceable. That is true, it's not enforceable, but sometimes signs deteriorate crime, right? Like if you have a sign that says, smile, you're on camera, someone might think twice before, going somewhere they're not supposed to be. So I just kind of wanted to state that because I saw residents saying like, we're putting something on the agenda that's not enforceable, but it can still prevent something.
So I agree, because that was going to be my question as well. But I know that it works because of the sign that's on the end of my street, right? About the no outlet. And like I was telling Alexis, where I've seen it work. I've stood on my step and I've seen people make a U-turn because it's a no outlet there. Because people were like, oh, okay. And then they make a U-turn and go back. So it does work. And I agree, it might not deter a lot of people, but I think it, in the long run, it probably will work, so I agree, but, some people are still gonna go 25, but 35, but, I agree, but my question is also, for those that do go over 15, how is it going to be enforced?
It'll be enforced by our police department when there's enough phone calls on that block that people are speeding.
They can only enforce 25 miles per hour.
Say that in public.
I'm
All
just
right.
saying.
Anybody else on the resolution? Okay,
Concludes my report.
thank you, Councilwoman Farrelly. Next up, 9.3, Public Health Environmental Affairs Committee, Chairwoman Blackwell. Seems like you got a list tonight.
Well, it's going to be very quick. I just wanted to just report that some constituents have raised concerns regarding grass cutting, trash in yards complaints, trash pickup reminders. And I just want to remind everyone that we do have the request line that is still in effect. Please call 610-734-7625, or you can email. And also, I'm trying to work on a project for a trash challenge to perhaps help other neighborhoods within Upper Darby. So that's my report. Does anyone else from the committee have anything else to report? Does anyone from council or administration have anything to report or bring forth? Yes.
Just very, very briefly, only because I've gotten a lot of calls from residents because I think they were a little confused. Because you're talking about the trash pickup, we are back to twice a week, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Absolutely. So I like the idea about a trash challenge. So maybe it can be named something like I'm copying off of somebody else, but something like team up to clean up or something like that. So that way, you know, we I don't want to say competitive because I'm a little bit competitive, maybe a lot, but you know, like being in competition with the streets and stuff, you know, and be like, hey, you know what, if you know, I'm not saying you have to give out a prize, but maybe you want to give out a prize, you know, the best clean street in the 4th district or whatever. So just an idea.
Hey,
I like it.
thank you.
I like it.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll move on to 10.0, Solicitor's Report.
Thank you very much, President Burke, Council. Just wanted to see, did anybody have any questions?
I have one question.
Sure.
I always get the street wrong. Solicitor Marcini, the property that we were looking into, Wycombe, right? Wycombe. Any update on it?
No, sir.
Okay. That's all. Just, I know everybody was eager to buy that property for Public Works or whatever we're going to move over there, but just was looking for an update.
I have one.
Go ahead, Vice President Wentz.
Are there any lawsuits against us?
Are there any lawsuits against us? There are, being handled by our office, no, that I'm aware of. I know that there are, I can get a list from our insurance carrier pending litigation. The only one I know recently of interest was one related to the parking report.
Okay.
But I'm not sure of any other specific lawsuits. I can get you some more information about.
Okay. My other question is actually in reference to tax levies. In the previous administration, the Finance Committee was a part of the conversation of any tax levy, and they would approve whether or not a tax levy, a change in the tax for tax assessment, would come before the Finance Committee. They would approve it, and then it would be a resolution that would come before council, and council would approve it. So we haven't seen any in the last 3 years, but I'm guessing that there has been tax assessment adjustments going on.
There are tax assessment appeals, and you may remember the administration a year and a half ago took an affirmative step when the school district was not after the
Right.
county reassessment. We can, myself and Ms. Marcini can talk to our colleague, Jim Gallagher, who is the one handling it on behalf of our firm, and try to get you a summary of where all those stand.
Okay, that would be great, because I know there used to be a process that it came before
Yeah.
council, and there hasn't been.
No,
So I'm a little confused on that.
Yeah, so under the home rule charter, the mayor initiates litigation.
Right.
So so it's really the mayor's power to do file an assessment appeal or not. Often the school district does. Upper Darby is a little unorthodox in that, and Usually they kind of tag along. I don't know what was done in the past as far as that goes, but we can definitely get your report of what's going on.
That would be wonderful. We'd
Yeah.
like to know what's going on.
Okay.
That would be, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else for the solicitor? Anybody else for the solicitor?
All right, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Okay. Next up, 11.0, old business. Vice President Wentz.
Okay, I have a couple of things. So, in our, sorry, in the tax levy ordinance that we passed in 2023, it was 3132. There was a section in it. Sorry, just wanted to get to it. As part of amendment, section 4, as per the approved 2023 budget resolution 5422, which includes the agreed upon 1.1 million in cuts to expenses, the 2.5 million of ARPA funds are allocated to the police department's 2023 budget, and there is a hiring freeze for non-union jobs in 2023. It's in the ordinance, but yet non-union jobs are people are being hired in non-union jobs in 2023. So I'm a little confused on how that's possible since it's in the ordinance that there is no hiring of non-union jobs. Now, granted, there was a confusion. Ms. Dobbins brought to us about the hiring of Bill Kaplan. It was done in November, but we didn't know about it until, January. Then he is actively coming to work in February. So we had that conversation, but we've had acting directors hired with no approval by council. And there's a new staff member in your office, Mayor Keffer, that wasn't approved by council, or it wasn't even brought to council that you needed to hire someone. So I'm very confused on how we've passed this in an ordinance, and yet you're still hiring non-union workers in
These are
2023.
positions that were budgeted for, just like we have non-union.
It's
Are
still,
you
you don't
going to
hi-
argue against this? So wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Any position that we've hired this year, union or non-union, was in the budget.
Right.
Already budgeted for.
I understand that, but the hiring freeze put a stop to hiring anyone.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, it says hiring freeze of non-union jobs.
Okay.
Period.
So we're not supposed to hire for the non-union jobs for twice a week trash collection and parks and everything?
We talked about that during the meeting when we discussed it, and that we would have a conversation about that when that time came to hire them for the 2-week trash collection. We did talk about that.
Okay.
When we were discussing this ordinance and the amendments, but
what?
But you're just mentioning that you're hiring those people, but you didn't come to the finance committee or council and saying, hey, it's time to hire these people. We need to hire them.
I don't have to do
I'm
that.
not actually talking about them. I'm talking about people you've already hired.
Okay, right. They're hired. You don't,
Against
council doesn't get a
against the
say in
contract-
this.
Against the ordinance.
It's not against the ordinance, it's budgeted for. There's a position budgeted for me to have a staffer. There's a fire chief budgeted. So you saying we shouldn't fill this position?
I think we should, but it has to go, a fire chief goes through council. We had an interim
Acting fire chief.
Yes, we had an interim fire chief in 2020 that was approved by council. Interim is basically the same as acting, but yet you don't bring them before council.
I'm not bringing this stuff before council, that's right.
Right. Okay, just wanted to clarify that. I just needed to clarify that, okay? So the ordinance doesn't really matter. So the tax levy ordinance
We're not
does
creating new
matter?
jobs. We are not creating new jobs. Any of the jobs that have been filled were already budgeted for.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. I have another question in reference to former permit officer who never received COVID pay or vaccination pay. And I was curious, what is the correct pathway to make sure that he gets that
I
coverage?
think we went over this a couple times. You're supposed, so code enforcement officer, is he an
Is it
OPEIU?
permit?
Permit, somebody that was an OPEIU?
Yes.
Then they have to go through OPEIU and they talk to us. Allison, is that right? Right, we shouldn't discuss
I
personnel.
intentionally did not mention the name. I was just intentionally. I just
Okay,
wanted-
so I think that this OPEIU member should go through OPEIU. That's what the union's for.
Okay, just wanted clarification because he tried that and it didn't work. So I just trying to find another way. But I will empower him to do that again and see if we can accomplish the goal. Okay, thank you.
Councilman Driscoll.
Yeah, just following up on a previous request to the administration, I don't know if it was the last meeting or two previous, regarding updates on the status of request line, things that we submit to the request line. I know people have a lot on their plates. My understanding is it's entered into some kind of system. Would it be possible for council to get a login to that system so we can check the status on our own?
Well, so, okay, short story is that I'm working on something so that all the elected officials that submit requests will get a report from Eva Marie Shahide, who's my assistant. So she's working on it, but I have to work with the people at the One Center to get that. I think you're right, that I don't think that a council request should get pushed in front of residents, but you're taking the time, you're an elected official, and you should find out where your request, how it's been addressed.
Okay, thank you.
Ultimately, we'd like that for everybody.
Yeah, I appreciate you looking into it.
But as login and stuff like that, I don't think so. They're still on the AS400, still transitioning to OpenGov. So it's still kind of awkward. You're welcome.
Anybody else for old business? Go ahead.
At the last meeting, Mayor, I know you were not here, but we asked several questions that day that Ms. Marcini wrote down and said that she would do her best to get those answers. I think there was at least 5 or 6 separate questions that came through not only from council members, but also from the public during public forum. I understand Ms. Marcini's answer tonight is that she has turned that over to the administration for answers, and I want to know what those answers are, Mayor.
I have no idea what the questions are.
You don't know any of the questions? Well, I'll start with the first one.
This isn't a trial, Councilwoman. Allison Dobbins should be sitting up here.
That's not
but
your
the council-
decision, and that's not what I was asking you.
That's too bad. That's too bad.
What do you mean that's too bad?
I'm not
first of
here
all, was
full-time.
speaking.
The mayor is not a full-time job. The CAO, acting CAO, those people are in here 50, 60, 70 hours a week running the township. If you want answers, then you should have somebody up here like Allison, like I won it last week, okay?
You are the mayor.
I
okay?
know.
So you should be able to answer these questions. At the very least, did you?
You didn't ever went to these meetings before. Tom Judge answered every question,
I
not
was at
Tom
a lot of those
McCosy.
meetings, and you know what? Tom McCosy would have known the answers.
I don't
okay?
think so.
So
would you give them to them?
Excuse me?
Yeah, did you give them the answers?
Did I give him the answers? What, like your CAO did to the other members of this council? No. Or to you? No. Let me ask you a question. Very least, did you sign a letter canceling that fire truck?
Yes.
You did sign it, so that's official. You actually canceled it yourself. I have questions about the second fire truck, which frankly, now that you've told me you've canceled the one that was coming. The second one, this is the first time I think we're hearing that there's one coming in December that was paid out of ARPA funds. It's very new to me, and I think to most of the members of this council. I want documentation of that, first of all, to see when that was ordered, and I also want to see if it's actually, in fact, coming in December and how we paid for it. But the rest of the questions that Ms. Marcini has turned over to you regarding, I believe, and if somebody can remind me of a couple of them, because they did come from the public, but you have no answers to any of them and are not aware of those questions even being asked or turned over to your administration.
Your opinion of what the mayor should and should not do is interesting.
What? I asked you.
I don't have to answer your questions, Megan. This isn't a trial.
First of all, I'm Councilwoman Wagner. I call you mayor, you call me Councilwoman Wagner.
you're
And
right, excuse
secondly-
me.
And secondly, that's fine. I didn't say it was a trial. If you want to sit here and say you don't know any of the answers, you don't know the questions, that's fine. That's all you have to say.
I don't know all the answers, no.
Okay.
Nobody does.
So I will jump on this question back and forth here. Ms. Dobbins, have you or the administration received those questions more than 7 days ago from Kilkenny Law? Yes or no? Okay. So why don't we have those answers back to council?
That email was addressed to the mayor.
So is the mayor have your hands tied? The mayor doesn't know those questions. She says she doesn't know those questions. That email goes to the mayor. She's saying that you have the questions and you have the answers. So obviously, it's going back and forth. So somebody's hands are tied, somebody can't speak, somebody can't type an answer to an email. It was just answered right here. Thank you. I guess we'll get the answer when we get an answer, just like we'll follow an ordinance when we want to follow an ordinance. So we'll move to new business due to the fact that we're not getting anywhere with old business. Okay, you have something else for old business?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We have 6 months left in the year. You have 6 months left on council. My question is, and based on what we've seen in the last couple of weeks, the majority of residents in Upper Darby Township does not agree with the leadership of this council. And when you check the results. Check
Please,
the results.
give
Got
Councilman
people up
Tunis
here
the
that lost-
time.
I lost by 50 points, all right? Let me continue.
Give-
So, when you first took on council, right, we talked about committees, and you said that we will come back to it, and then later you said things change. My opinion wasn't the truth. Things that aren't the truth, usually considered a lie. Now we have 6 months left in the year, 6 months, you have 6 months left on council. My question is, your legacy, is this what you want the committees to represent for your legacy, or would you like to make all committees actually look like the township? Or continue just having what you are? Because we had a couple good months, the last couple months, getting things done. I think we should give other council members an opportunity to be on committees. So my question is, will you be interested in changing committees and giving council members the opportunity to serve on other committees, as you have 6 months left on council?
No need to. Everybody's well represented by districts in all my committees. It's just not what you want, Councilman Tunis.
No, people just want to be in a room. We're only doing one or two things on council. We should be passing a lot of legislation. We're not doing that.
Have you brought anything to the table?
Yes, I've brought legislation to the table, and every legislation I've brought forward has either passed unanimously with Republican and Democratic support, or it passed with majority support. But if we're not in a room in committees,
So what's your complaint?
my
You can bring anything to any committee, talk it up.
okay,
your
so
support.
just to say you're not going to change committees for your last 6 months on council.
If you brought everything
Okay,
to
it's
the
fine.
council.
It's fine.
if
It's
you
all
brought
gonna
everything
change in
to
January.
council and it's been
It's all good.
passed, I don't see any reason. You've got the votes. Obviously, your ideas are great because you got the votes by majority or 11-0. It's just, it's not what you want and hasn't been what you want, and that's just the way it is. And why would I change it for 6 months if you're applauding council for passing your ideas 11-0 or with the majority? There's no reason to.
A lot of that wasn't under your leadership, okay?
Oh, okay. Anybody else for old business?
Well, I don't know if this is old business, but I think someone brought it up about street sweeping. So I guess that's old business. So what can we do to bring that to the 6th?
Well, I'm sure Head of Public Works, Mr. Martin, has a schedule where that street sweeper goes from street to street. I'm sure it's an open schedule, every other week or every week, I would just email the administration and ask if there's a schedule. I believe we have a brand-new one last year and one fixed last year. I believe we have 2 street sweepers. I haven't heard that they were broken down. I heard they were coming down Garrett Road, saw them coming down Garrett Road last week, so. Some of these streets got cars parked on both sides, or you only can get one side, so I'm sure you have some kind of schedule for these guys to drive them. So I guess we can put a request in, and maybe you can get an answer from Public Works Director Joe Martin.
Okay, so speaking of that, and I know people don't like to compare Upper Darby to Philadelphia. Philadelphia has this little thing. It's like it's the guy that's on this little truck, and he has like a because they can't get down the streets either, right? And they have
A snorkel.
I don't know what it's called.
He's
but
on a John Deere with a 6-inch
Yes.
vacuum
Yes.
that has an
Yes.
arm on it. It just goes
Yes.
over and back and forth.
Yes, 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 yes.
I believe Mr. Martin looked at that 2 years ago, and
Mm.
I don't know if that was a pilot plan or what, but yeah, the township could probably use 2 of them.
Yeah. All right.
Extension of what she's talking
Go
about.
ahead, Vice President Winters.
So there used to be a schedule that was, prior to this administration, there was a schedule that was part of the calendar. I actually I had not seen the street sweeper in the 4th district for probably like 9 months, and I have heard it and seen it a couple times recently. But because there's no open schedule that residents know of, we can't move our cars in advance to make space for it. So if we knew in advance that it was coming, we could make space on the street for it to come down. So just wanted to put that out there.
Anybody else for old business? See none? 12.0, new business. Go ahead.
June 18, Sunday, 12 to 8 p.m. There will be Community Appreciation Day and also the school graduation on behalf of the mosque, Masjid Al-Madina. It will be held on Cardington Field. All are invited. June 18, 12 to 8 p.m., Community Appreciation Day. It will be a whole day cookout. So all are invited for the barbecue party and the school graduation. You are cordially invited, please.
Thank you, Councilman.
That's all I have.
Anybody else? Councilwoman Wagner?
Thank you, President Burke. 2 things briefly. First of all, I want to send a special thank you out to the police department. You know how near and dear our officers are to my heart. But there's been a lot of activity lately that they have been responding in a fantastic manner to. Most specifically, or most recently, I guess is one of the things that happened most recently is Friday into Saturday morning, we had a barricaded subject, which was a very dangerous situation. And I think it went on for about 12 hours, right? And the Upper Darby Police Department handled that with professionalism and managed to get that under control, and no one was hurt in that incident. So I just want to acknowledge that that happened, and thank them for that, and thank them for what they do every single day. Secondly, I also want to send a congratulations out. Bonner and Prendy, their crew teams participated in nationals this Memorial Day weekend. They not only qualified for nationals, but did extremely well while they were there. A silver medal was awarded to Colin Gross for, I'm sorry, he's a single boat, I should put it that way. So he received the silver medal for the single boat. And then a bronze medal was awarded for the lightweight double boat to Meredith Burke and Bridget Murphy. So I just want to give them a round of applause and congratulate them. Nationals were held in Tennessee too, so they were able to put Upper Darby and Bonner and Prendy really on the mark at nationals this year. So that's all I have.
Thanks, Councilwoman Wagner. Vice President Wentz?
Yes, I also would like to congratulate our municipal clerk, Alexis Cicchetti. She, my image keeps, she got an award, for appreciation of outstanding dedication service as clerk of the Township of Upper Darby. This certification recognition is awarded to Alexis Cicchetti from General Code. So thank you. And I also just wanted, and this is probably old business, but I just wanted to thank everyone who came out to support our veterans on Memorial Day. So I just wanted to say thank you very much for that.
Councilwoman Blackwell.
Yes, so I would just like to recognize the St. Lawrence track team. They came in 4th place at the pin relays, and they competed against 8th graders, and they were only 4th graders, so they did very well. They represented the 4th district, and it was just an amazing event. So that was a lot of recognition.
Thank you, Councilwoman Blackwell. Anybody else on council for new business? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Aye.
8:27.
Something turn in your folder.
Thank you. It's over 200 now. My son just texted me. Here, it was over 200.